Hey guys, it's Rufus. Most people suck at attacking. Even plat and diamond players have no idea what they're doing when it comes to the most basic attacking philosophy. And this may sound like an over-exaggeration, but it's true. Most people will judge you if you play ranked like Pro League, but who cares? The pros play like this for a reason, and if it wasn't the best way to attack, I wouldn't be teaching it. Now, roam clearing is extremely easy, but most people roam clear poorly because they choose not to think before they act. There are two parts to roam clearing. First, you need to know what you want to roam clear. You can learn this by learning and understanding various attack strategies. For example, if you were to attack Aviator Games on Villa, you have two options, one of which is the statuary side clear. This is when an attacking team pushes Master and roam clears Master, Bathroom, Statuary, Trophy, and eventually Landing, 90, and Study. You take all of this map control so that you can surround Aviator. You could just try to take landing control only by going up red stairs, but this would likely get you killed and caught in several cross angles. There's also another reason we need to clear all of Statuary, Trophy, and Astronomy. It's so that we can hold this flank by one set of stairs. The only other flank we need to worry about is red stairs. So this gives us the ability to safely try and execute onto Aviator without having to worry about getting flanked, and that is given that we are watching our flanks. The second part to roam clearing is the positioning and the strategy. This is where each player enters, drones, which walls are opened, where each player moves, and more. Factors like this is what makes a good roam clear. The way you react will change, but there's one philosophy you need to consider with your initial positioning. You will usually have your two entry players enter the building, and the third player may also enter the building, but may also be cutting off rotations. This is important. If we refer back to the statuary side roam clear, any roamers around Statuary and Trophy will retreat sight through the landing and bore. However, this rotation can be cut off by putting someone onto this window. Having someone cut off the roamers is important because you can restrict the defender's movement and possibly get a pick. The last two people will be on drone and give intel. These are your supports. Roam clearing is very easy. It's a game of conditions that forces the defenders to either take a gunfight or fall off a position. Either way, if you do your job correctly, you will get map control, and what that means is you clear utility and you put the defenders in a position where they're forced to react. But when you're taking map control, you want to make sure you're playing for trades. What this means is that you want to try and not lose a person without getting a refrag. You won't be able to do this all the time, but it's always preferable to stay even rather than go negative. When you finally roam cleared an area, you'll need to set up flank watch. Nomad and Gridlock are optional, but you always want a camera on your flanks. This is so that you can always have somebody watching your flank, and you can just randomly check your cam sometimes to see if anybody is flanking. Drones can also be placed to watch doorways or windows for runouts and jump outs. This can be good on certain maps like Cafe, if you are rappelling on the west balcony and are trying to take cigar control. It's very common for a roamer to run out of bakery. Because of this, some teams will place a cam in bakery in order to keep tabs on this runout. When placing these cams, you can either choose to pre-place them or place them later in the round. When pre-placing cams, try not to get your drones destroyed. It does happen, but it can be useful for making decisions based on pre-round intel. This is especially true when deciding to rush. If you see that the defenders are setting up a huge roam and have 3 or more people off site, you can rush. If you see that a part of site is being neglected and is vulnerable, you can rush. If you see an opportunity to just go and take map control, rush it. That's all that rushing is, it's taking map control. When there's only 2 people on site, and if you play for trades, the round will become a 3v3, but the attackers have site control. And so now, the defenders become attackers, and they have to retake site while the plant is going down. However, if you're deciding not to rush site, you will eventually need to execute. This is when you actually start pushing into site and going for your plant. This is not very hard at all. What you need to do is clear all utility that will affect your execute. This involves shields, evil eyes, and any other utility. When preparing for your execute, you'll usually be using hard breach on some wall in order to open extra angles for your team. However, when you actually push into site, you will be oftentimes forced to expose yourself. This is where smokes help out. However, if you don't have smokes, you'll need your team to push into site and actually take site control before you can go for a plant. A good execute will force the defenders to expose themselves in order to deny plant. You do this by setting up several cross angles to protect the planner or to deny rotations. If you're doing all of this with a team, you'll need an IGL. This is the person whose voice takes priority. This is the person who makes calls. He calls the strats and keeps the team on track. This is an extremely important job for keeping your team on the same wavelength. You can also have a co-IGL too, as to share priorities. And lastly, if you don't know what IGL stands for, it means in-game leader. That's the person who makes calls, and so you want to have them be a smart person who knows the game well. That's all to say for this video, and if you learned something, give the video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe. Toodles.